First off, thank our students for coming and everybody that came for the 9 o'clock tip. Those are less than desirable, but part of the deal. Pleased with our first half. I thought we played a very good first 20 minutes, and guys really attacked the game the right way, quick turnaround. North Alabama has some talented players, and Coach Pujols does a great job. They're picked to win their league, and so they're a good, talented team. And I thought our guys were ready to play, which I'm really proud of. But I'm very disappointed in our second half. We just like Morehead State, we just didn't sustain, and we got to do better. And that's human nature, but it's not acceptable. And we're going to have very difficult games starting this weekend, and we're going to have to play 40 minutes to win those kind of games. And so I'm a little disappointed with our second half, but pleased to get a win, a 20-point win against a good team. So questions for me?
Brad, speaking of that, you called the timeout there the first 2 minutes. Kind of what was that message there?
Yeah, we talked about a bunch of different things at halftime, and I guess they either didn't hear or didn't want to hear. And it was a reminder that you guys don't listen, like this is what's going to happen. I've seen this movie. And, it's hard because when you do have a 20-point lead, human nature is to relax a little bit, and there's less pressure on the team who's losing. Now the game is like, okay, it feels like it's lost, and so you can kind of relax a little, and just when you get an open shot, you're probably not quite as tense as maybe even at the beginning of a game or when the game is not going as well. You got a chance to kind of regroup and let's see how it goes. And if, as the aggressor, if you don't stay aggressive and keep, making them uncomfortable, then a guy makes a couple shots and they get rolled a little bit, and guys play with much more freedom and confidence the next 20 minutes, and you got to get the game stopped again. And the defense is down there, and momentum in sports is it's a very difficult thing. So you don't ever want to get it started against you, and unfortunately we let that happen. I was trying to stop it.
Coach, 14, 4, and 6 with no turnovers, team high plus 27 from Zach Foster tonight. What was your evaluation of the freshman's performance?
Really good, especially in the first half defensively. I thought he played very well. Obviously his speed and just ability to make a couple shots and get other guys some easy ones was outstanding. So pleased with that. A little bit in the second half, I think he got a little careless and took a couple bad ones and wasn't guarding quite at the same level of urgency that we need. But our young guys don't quite understand yet the possession by possession games, and it's that's what we found out at Georgetown. And so it's just your habit building all the time, practice, games, but outstanding performance for a young player to come in with that kind of ability and to be able to just move the ball and get to places and get other guys shots. I thought he was terrific.
Piggybacking off that, Ace Buckner also got the start tonight. How would you say those two have matured in their roles, even just 5 games into the season?
Well, they're both still far from mature players. They don't even know what they don't know. But I love their confidence. I love their talent. They're good kids. They're hard workers. They're good players. They want to be good players. They want to be coached. So you're going to win with guys like that. And they're going to make some mistakes. We got to live with some of it. We're just trying to coach the urgency into it. Like they need to understand we need them to be good now. And so, that's why we're coaching to detail. It's what we do. And sometimes that's hard. It's not easy to take that as a young player and understand, but they're both really talented. They're competitive. They're good players.
Coach, a few games ago you said that you were subbing in 5 guys at a time based on who practices together. Are you seeing different combinations kind of mesh as you work with different things?
Well, we're trying to look at more different combinations at different times. We do it some in practice, but we're also trying to do it a couple times in games. And sometimes we have to force it or get it to happen early so that you never know what the game is going to do with fouls, and then it's hard to sometimes get some lineups that you might want. So we made some adjustments. knew that we're not married to this is our 5 and this is our second 5. This is a team that, you know, it can change almost every game. It could, based on who's playing well, who practices well, what we think as a staff in terms of matchups. And we could go back to 5-5 at any time as well too.
With
Right.
that, sorry, go ahead.
What will this weekend tell you about your guys? What are you kind of looking for, and what are you hoping to see?
Just we'll find out. You know, we'll have to deal with a lot more different things again. I mean, you know, the Georgetown game, we saw all different kinds of things. We saw a bunch of different presses and zones and man and aggressiveness. And tonight they were more packed in. And you know, for a team that is still trying to figure each other out and figure out how to adjust, you can even see our older players, like, we're getting guarded this way. What are the adjustments? And in some of the adjustments are like, okay, I need to flash fast. Like, we're not making those things, and it's not happening fast enough for us to be quite as good as we need to be. And so we've just got to keep coaching better, and we've got to make it to where it's second nature. And those are things that, again, we're going to get exposed to down there against bigger, stronger athletes. West Virginia is really good. I watched them a little bit against Pittsburgh. Defensively, they're outstanding. And, you know, they're playing really well right now with a lot of confidence. So this will be another great 2 games for us to learn a lot about ourselves and grow. And I think the Georgetown game it was disappointing we lost. I thought we played another really good first half and just okay second. But it was a good experience for us.
As you talk about the new lineups, RJ came off the bench tonight. How would you just assess his play? He went 5 for 5 to open it, and then his response to coming off the bench.
Yeah, terrific. You know, I talked to him about it yesterday. I said, hey, I want to try something different. Just, it's no big deal. Like, and he understands, Coach, I'm fine. Like, it's good. And I said, dude, it's not going to affect your minutes. You're still going to play however many minutes. And I said, just don't foul so much. You know, he got 2 quick fouls, and but he was terrific tonight. I thought he was really ready to play, and bouncy and finished and played with great pace and did a little bit of everything. Scored, rebounded, assisted, energy, loved it. So no surprise.
11 boards for Jake Wallin, just continuing to make winning plays. What's your evaluation on him?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Jake's been really good for us defensively, and I thought tonight was one of his poor defensive games in the second half. I hate to keep coming back to the negatives, but he has great bounce. He has great speed. He does a lot of little things that keeps our offense going that is really good, moving the ball, cutting through, back cutting, just kind of some things that he just does naturally that really help. You know, he's shooting the ball well. I was glad he made that 3 late. We have a lot of confidence in him. He's a guy who I think has really enjoyed like our morning shooting routines. I think that's been good for him. But you know, he was good tonight. He just wasn't as good defensively in the second half, and as he has been.
Nick Davidson sees a lot of minutes. Is that just riding a hotter hand? Just what do you?
Yeah, I think there's just, you know, RJ was playing so well tonight, and we tried him and Carter a little together, and I wanted to make sure Chase played some, and it's just kind of, this is going to happen with everybody on the team at some point or another.
You mentioned coming back to the negatives. Is that tough as a coach with a team that is so known that you're learning so much?
Yeah.
But you want to keep the game fun for them, but at the same time,
Yes.
be the coach?
It's funny, I just told him that in the locker room. I said, guys, I don't want to be this coach. I don't want to be the mean guy that comes in and, you know, makes you feel bad after winning by 20. That's not what we're trying to do, but I'm also a realist of what this means, and this is not acceptable. And, you know, we're habit building whether we like it or not, good or bad. And the second half was bad habit building. And that's why it's so hard to be good. The mentality that you have to have and the maturity. And when you're as new as we are, that part of it makes it even more challenging because they don't really know, you know, how we do things and what all the expectations are. And it's not easy for us to fix things, as easy in games to fix things as it has been the last couple of years. And so when a game starts flipping on us, that's not as easy sometimes to flip it back as, hey, we can make this adjustment and this adjustment. We're going to try to make some, but, you know, there's a time in a timeout tonight when I was saying something and Carter kind of looked at me like I had 3 heads. And I didn't think it was that big a deal, but he didn't quite understand, you know? And so like, well, okay, we'll scrap that then. We'll have to do this. And so that's happening with us a little bit this year, that, you know, where we could do more things aggressively to counteract a lot of things within games, even within timeouts, not half times, but timeouts. So, but it's just a new team.
Any more questions for Coach?
Let's all go home. What do you think? Thank you all.